From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on Newstalk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, it's Newstalk KZRG, Ted Bojorquez and Steve Scott. And joining us this morning is Cody Smith, who's running for Missouri State Treasurer. How you doing this morning, Cody?
I'm doing well, Ted. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, thanks for being here. Well, Cody Smith, you're a local guy, but for those that are unfamiliar with you and your work history, can you give us a little background on yourself?
Sure, yeah. I'm a lifelong Southwest Missouri resident and have a business background in both corporate and small business. Began my career as a banker, and then I went to work for the family-owned real estate and auction company, and then I started another new company that works in healthcare. And so my background is business, spanning the corporate and small business and even entrepreneurial side. And I've spent the last several years in the Missouri House, where I've worked as the House Budget Chairman. And all that experience combined is why I'm, what I think makes me qualified to run for state treasurer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, seems to me like it checks the boxes. It's Cody Smith here at Newstalk KZRG, running for Missouri State Treasurer here in the studio. And, speaking of all that experience that you just sort of laid out, a really common question we get of candidates is, why? Why do you want to utilize this skill set that you've worked so hard to attain to then run for a position like the state treasurer?
Sure. Well, I'm passionate about public policy, specifically as it relates to economic freedom. I think that the less the government reaches into our wallets, the more free we are here in Missouri and every other state in the union, of course. And I'm passionate about upholding and promoting economic freedom. I've been able to do that in the legislature. Would like to continue to do that as state treasurer. Additionally, I'm passionate about educational freedom, and I believe that the family should have options when it comes to their children's education. And we've been able to move the ball down the field in the legislature with a program called the Most Scholars Program that is actually administered through the state treasurer's office. And I'm excited and interested in expanding that program. And we just actually recently expanded it through the legislature earlier this year. And so there's a lot of opportunity to work in both of those categories of public policy as the state treasurer.
Oh, that's interesting. So can you dive in a little bit deeper on, if elected as state treasurer, how you would expand that program with education?
Well, we just expanded it through state law, and so there's an opportunity to expand it under that new state law. We made it a statewide program. It was limited to cities of 35,000 people or more, so if you lived outside those city limits, you were just out of luck. You could not qualify. It is now truly a statewide program. And additionally, we lifted the cap to $75 million, and it is a tax credit funded, donation funded program. And so right now, we are a little less than $25 million collected annually for that program. It's been up and running for a couple of years now, but we have a tremendous amount of opportunity to promote and expand that program under current law. And that's would be a main focus of mine right out of the gate.
Nice. It's Missouri State Treasurer candidate Cody Smith here at Newstalk KZRG. Cody, is there anything you hope to change about how the Missouri State Treasurer's office is currently running that, sort of from the outside looking in, but with the background that you have in this field, that you go, you know what, they could do that better, and I hope to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly, as I say, focus on the Most Scholars Program first and foremost. There's opportunity to not only expand it under the law, but to promote it and kind of spread the word about it. I think that is a little known and somewhat underutilized program. It's relatively new. It's been in existence for a couple of years now. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of foster and develop that program. And additionally, I think we should look for ways to increase transparency with the taxpayers' money. Always in the state treasurer's office, it should be easy to tell, especially in the age of computers and the internet, to see where the money is going through as it works its way through the state treasury and out to the various expenditures of the state. And I think we have opportunity to improve the way that we make that available to taxpayers. So I think, again, I would work on the Most Scholars Program and expand that as much as I could and promote it as much as possible, travel the state, get the word out. And then secondarily, I would look for ways to increase transparency around the way the money works through the state treasury.
No. And Cody Smith, candidate for Missouri State Treasurer here at Newstalk KZRG, you just said something, this just came to my mind. When it comes to the issue of transparency, a lot of the times when it comes to finances, people have a hard time understanding them. I myself have a hard time wrapping my head around numbers. Would that be something you'd be interested in, the transparent side of things, of educating people on what the numbers mean?
I am interested in that. I think we have opportunity in this country to increase just kind of our general awareness of the civic process, including how money flows through the state government and through the state treasury. That's been something that I've worked on in the legislature, working within my district, working across the state to meet with school kids and people that are interested in understanding how this works, talking about our legislative process and how things move through that process. Similarly, in the state treasurer's office, I would work towards that kind of public education goal and always make myself available to help people understand the process. And I think we do need to build out ways. Again, I would think of things like websites and programs to help increase awareness around this process and other processes within state government.
Nice. It's Cody Smith, running for Missouri State Treasurer here at Newstalk KZRG. Cody, I'm curious too, could you provide some insight when it comes to your views on sort of a perpetual problem that cities and states have, and that is the balance between I want tax cuts, but also I don't want the ship to go down and it be chaos and nothing gets funded. Where do you sit in that balance?
Yeah, well, I'm a low taxes guy. I think that Missouri should continue to reduce and completely eliminate our income tax. I actually was able to pass the largest income tax cut in the state's history during my time in the Missouri House. And that will save taxpayers about $1 billion once it's fully implemented. And I think we should continue to, again, drive down the income tax and completely eliminate it over the course of time so we can compete with states like Texas and Tennessee and Florida, the places where people are moving to escape things like income taxes. We should be doing that here in Missouri. And we've been able to do that in a way that uses revenue triggers so that once a certain amount of revenue is collected, taxes are cut by a certain percentage, and it kind of protects or keeps the budget intact in that way. And I think that's really we found the path to make this all work while continuing to cut taxes and not defund entirely state government. And I think that's the tack that we should continue to take. And so I'm always going to land on the let's lower taxes side of that argument. But obviously there are requirements of Missouri state government to function. And primarily, the Missouri state government needs to protect the rights of its citizens. Additionally, we are required to provide a public education to children. And so we need to check those boxes. Obviously, we have a Medicaid program, those types of things. But Missouri is in very good financial health right now. We have a AAA credit rating. We have significant cash reserves. And we've been able to cut taxes simultaneously. And the last thing I'll say, Ted, is that folks need to remember that tax cuts spur economic growth, which spurs revenue. And so we've seen in Missouri over the last several years, we've cut taxes by hundreds of millions of dollars. And despite that, our revenues have continued to grow. So I think low taxes are key to economic prosperity, and that will help fund revenues in the greater scheme.
Mm-hmm. It's Cody Smith here at Newstalk KZRG. He is running for Missouri State Treasurer. Cody, we're up against the clock here, but if you had one final elevator pitch, so to speak, as to why voters should vote for you to represent the state as the treasurer of Missouri, what would that elevator pitch be?
Sure. Well, I come from a business background. I take that same common sense mentality to public service. I have developed and acquired a significant skill set and a level of experience as it relates to the state's finances that I think make me well qualified within the field for state treasurer. And I have done all that while maintaining one of the most conservative voting records in the Missouri legislature. I have consistently been given A ratings by our friends at Americans for Prosperity, Club for Growth, CPAC. And if folks want to learn more about me, they can go back and look at my record and see that I'm actually a conservative Republican that has had success with delivering things to taxpayers. And my goal now is to take that experience, that skill set, that record to the office of state treasurer, where I can continue to be an advocate for taxpayers and continue to work on, like I say, economic freedom and educational freedom.
Nice. Cody Smith, running for Missouri State Treasurer here at Newstalk KZRG. And if people want to learn more about your campaign, what are your socials? Where do they go to learn about you?
Yeah, my website is Cody for Missouri. That's all spelled out, CODYFOR, Missouri.org. That's got links to my social media accounts and kind of helps folks keep up with the campaign and learn more about me if they're interested.
Nice. Cody Smith, running for Treasurer of the state of Missouri. Thank you very much for joining us this morning,
Thank
Cody.
you for having me, Ted. Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon. It's Newstalk, KZRG.